Welcome back, everyday business leaders. I'm Melanie Ake, your host for today's show, coming to you from JP the Geek Studio right here in Greenwood, Indiana. I'm thrilled to have you with us today. You're going to meet Theo and Rose Storn from Senior Hearts Homes. We're going to talk to you everything about what they're doing to lift and celebrate what they do in the community. They're amazing people, so stay tuned, grab your journals, and you're going to learn something today. We connect and celebrate remarkable business leaders from our very own community who are redefining the way we think and grow and actually build community. So subscribe to our channel and turn the notifications on so you never miss an episode. Are you ready to meet the Stones? Let's go. Hi, you guys.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
how are
Thank
you?
you so much. I know we rescheduled this because we've all been so busy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We've been on vacation.
nice. That's a good busy.
It is.
It's a
the
great
best
thing,
busy.
right? I love having you guys in the studio because of all the things that you do from your hearts, and your company is Senior Hearts Homes. So I want to learn all about your business. I really want to use this opportunity to celebrate you, to have people get to know what you do, why you do it, and how they can get involved. All right.
Sure, I'll give you the nuts and bolts, and Rosie will probably add the hard part into it, right? You got to have both, right?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, first of all, you guys are married, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
So
22 years.
Theo and
22
Rose,
years.
how did you start to think about serving other people for kind of creating this community? But you serve a wide community.
Yeah, so that's always been on our heart
Yes.
to do. We have a ministry even called Overtake and Occupy. That's a separate kind of thing, but this pairs really well with that.
Mm-hmm.
In my everyday job, so I worked at Salesforce for 12 years prior to this, and
Go Salesforce.
yeah, and it just got to the point where I'm like, I want something more. I want something where I'm not bound by 40 hours a week plus. It's usually more than 40 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of giving time to somebody else when I could give time to people that need it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So we launched our company. It's in real estate. We launched our real estate company in 2021, and then I ended up quitting Salesforce at the end of 21. And when we set out to do this thing in real estate, one of our non-negotiables was we're going to find a place to give back at least half a day a week, which we ended up finding Johnson County Senior Services about a year and a half later. And it's like, okay, this is the place.
life-changing.
What a perfect.
This is the
Yes.
place to be.
Yeah.
So back a little bit in 22, we got our things were really starting to roll. And one of the first clients we had was a senior person. And that's when we realized, hey, there's something here. There's a thing here that I didn't even know there was a need for.
Right.
So then in 23, October 22, we found out that there's a thing called a senior transition specialist. So we got our certification in that in October. And then 23, we launched our senior-facing brand of the real estate company called Senior Hearts Homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good. It's been a great opportunity. When we went to the senior transition specialist, we learned so many ways that we could step in and help, because even in our personal lives, we know so many seniors that have no one to advocate for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a hard space for them right now, and it was very exciting that we could step in even in what we do to help them.
Well, as the economy changes, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that you think, oh, well, if you are in a normal family, you may have family around you. You may have your grandparents or your parents or your kids. A lot of people don't have that.
They do not.
And even if they do, on average, kids are 400 miles away from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So can they afford financially and from a time commitment to make that travel back and forth all the time?
Mm-hmm. And we talk about, the baby boomers that are now like, that's
Yes.
overtaking our population. And then we think about the gap, they say, when we really talk about generational things, but Generation X, like that's
They're
not
right
going to be
behind
as
them.
many. But then you've got the next millennials that are going to be like the baby boomers, because that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
You will look at the numbers in the population and how we serve each other. Johnson County Senior Services, 8,700 people, right?
A month.
A month.
Yes.
8,700 families that she's serving a month, that they are serving. But Kim Smith does such an amazing job of connecting services, resources.
Right. Correct.
She really does.
She really does.
Yes.
So when you guys first met or first connected to that organization, you know, what was it that drew you in so hard?
Wow.
So it's funny because Rosie wasn't feeling that great that day. We met her at one of her Aging in Action events that she does quarterly for the seniors to do a lunch and learn. So the professionals come in at 10 to 11. They come in an hour early, right? And network, and then we get to serve the seniors lunch and actually sit down with them
Best
and eat.
part.
And that's by far the
I
best
love
part
that.
of that event, of those events, is the just mingling with the people, having a meal with them, you know, just learning about them. But yeah, so it was that event about a year ago now, and I just had like a 10-minute conversation with her, maybe broken up into like 2 minutes here and there because she's everywhere.
When you know Kim, that's exactly right.
So total combined time, I got like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I went home and told Rosie, I'm like, you've got to meet this person.
Yes.
And then we went over there at her building, and she gave us the whole history of how it got built, how all the donations came in, and
God worked in that whole thing.
And
Man.
and there wasn't a dry eye.
No dry eyes.
And there never is a dry eye when you go
No.
over there.
Talking
When you're
about
with Kim,
God, too.
She came on here, we were crying. I'm like,
Right.
stop it.
So invest in Kleenex when you go over there. But it's that, just her heart is where
It's
we
our
want to
heart.
be. I mean,
Yes.
if she's on a totally different level that we hope to get to one day, but it's. But she even says that she doesn't call us a business. She calls us a business tree, where we really do couple the ministry with the business. When we just, one of the things that I like about volunteering there is like when we do food orders and things, we can pray with people. She encourages it. It's not, ministry is always first.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
God first. We love that. We absolutely love that.
People talk about it, but watching people put it into action is different. Right?
Exactly.
And I think aligning with services that can really provide that,
Right.
the value of your heart first, it makes a huge impact for those that you're serving. And I think these seniors that 8,700 right now, but there are people that don't know about Johnson County
Right.
Senior Services.
Right.
There are people that are shut in, that their families don't live here, that they don't know the resources. We were doing a study. I was working with an organization with Bo Jackson and Modern Woodman last year on a project, and they were looking at how many nonprofits there are in Johnson County. Now, this is taking into consideration, clubs and resources.
Right.
But over 1,700 nonprofits just in Johnson County.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And so, organizations that are doing great things you may not know about.
Right.
And so I want to help get the word out today about what the work that you're doing, but also like the resources that you're connected to that families need to tap into, these quarterly meetings,
Right.
these resources that can be educational for all people, right?
Yeah. And so the way, I guess, kind of getting into what we actually do is we buy a mom's house. We want to do that quickly, easily, hassle-free, because again, kids are on average 400 miles away. They don't have, it's hard for them to get that time to come to mom or come to dad, or do you
Or
want to
really
do a
know.
6-month rehab on a home?
Or really know what's happening
Right.
in their life, right? To say
Yeah.
it's time
Right.
for them to transition.
Right, because they see them at Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, maybe 4th of July, maybe Labor Day, maybe Memorial Day, somewhere
Couple
there.
phone calls here and
Couple
there.
phone, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get the split, right? Sister saw him Thanksgiving, brother saw him Christmas. Brother's like, hey, mom needs some help. No, I just saw her on Thanksgiving. She's fine. And so you get the dynamic of the family, the siblings coming in there of trying to get them to agree, or maybe they're on the same page, but mom and dad aren't on the same page. So there's a huge dynamic there. We just want to come in and provide options. Here are things that are available. Here's how we can help. But it first starts with a conversation. What do you guys need? What's going on? How do we get here? What's going to happen if we don't do anything about this.
Right.
Because a lot of times mom probably needed help 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and people would be in a much better place, including the siblings.
But it's so hard because we don't know. We're busy, right? Everybody's busy, and we don't address it.
Right.
So how do you help educate us to prepare us for those times of transition? Because that's the thing, right? If we're more educated, we can make better decisions.
Do you want to take that one?
I think a lot of times, too, it's best for us to actually build the relationships with other professionals in other, like Alzheimer's and those, where we can actually talk to them and say, this might mean this a little bit. We don't know. So let us introduce you to people that know better in these areas. And so our goal is to have an endless supply of resources for them. And what I really love about how we do things is we don't just throw cards at them and say, here, call these people. We do warm introductions. If they're not comfortable with that person, we have another person. So we want their lives emotionally, because right now it's such a difficult time for them. And we just want their lives to be as easy as possible and let them guide the steps that they want to take and who they're comfortable with. And that's been really important to both of us to help lead them in those ways.
And I'd say that the big key in that is that we understand it's their timeline. We're not pushing our timeline. We're not pushing our agenda. We want to provide options, help them put a plan together, and then implement that plan. However we can help by, like Rosie was saying, bring in connections that we have. Bring in the experts for that thing, right? What's the thing that we got to address? Here's an expert for that. Do you not like that one? Here's another expert. And it always is, hey, we're going to call from mom's couch. Hey, mom, can you give, or hey, professional, I've got mom here on the couch. You got 5 minutes to talk to her, set up an appointment, or you can come out here. Hey, mom, here's a picture of who's coming out here.
Yes.
Right? So that people can just happen by on accident. And people tend to volunteer information that they probably shouldn't volunteer, right? They get a knock on the door. Oh, are you here about the car? Oh, yeah, I'm here about the car. I need the keys for it.
Yeah.
Right? And now your car is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, and so we want to protect that too. So we always want a photo of here's who's coming out to your door. Here's when they're coming. We like to be there, honestly, if we can, even when the person shows up.
That's so great. You really take care of people. I think, the big leadership lesson is meeting people where they are. Right. Helping them to just feel safe and secure and trust everything that you're doing. But networking with the right resources is huge. I remember family members going through hospice for the first time, and I had no idea. The hospital just gives you this list of people, and you're like, how do you make those decisions unless you're really involved? But it's doing the things to get educated before. Right. Before you have to make those decisions. It's just like pre-planning your estate, pre-planning your funeral, like all those things that you're making the right decisions when it's the right time instead of when you have to.
Right. And we actually have a book on our website that they can download. It's an ebook. I meant to bring a copy of it with us today, and I messed up.
It's okay.
But it's.
Well, tell us about your website because we want to show that. Yeah.
So the website, seniorheartshomes.com. I'll go there. There's a link on the top says free ebook, and you can. It's a quick little form, name, email address, fill it out, and you can download that PDF version of the book called "Paying for Long-Term Care," and it tells a story of how. A stepson, stepdad had to navigate that whole space and pitfalls they ran into and things to watch out for, things that worked, things that didn't work, what's Medicaid, what's Medicare, what are VA benefits. It covers a whole wide range of things because if you go Google senior services, it's just a mess of information that doesn't make sense. It's not organized. What is AL? What's IL? What's the SNF? What are these terms? So that book kind of helps break those things down and provide a little more clarity.
That's awesome. So people can go right now to seniorheartshomes.com.
Correct.
And download that ebook. Yeah, that's so great. Hi, I'm Melanie Ake, founder of Everyday Leaders, and I'm excited to share with you a new training resource for your team called The Leadership Game. The Leadership Game is a tool. It's administered exclusively by John Maxwell team members. And when you bring this assessment tool in to lead your organization, it shows you the current level of your leadership and gives you tangible and actionable results to move forward. So don't delay. Get in the game, the leadership game, exclusively from Everyday Leaders. So talk to us about, the other things besides Johnson County Senior Services. Like, what's your platform? What's your passion to then say, how do we do education better? Like, the community is growing, right?
Yeah.
When you look at Johnson County itself, I forget the numbers, like 65,000, I think Mayor Mark Myers was in here and said, 65,000 people, and Greenwood it's grown to. So that's just Greenwood.
Right.
But Franklin, Bargersville, Trafalgar, like, we're all really expanding, and those are young families, but they have people in need, right? So what do you guys see as your plan for the next maybe 2 to 3 years of just helping to broaden your education?
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think with us, the biggest part of what we want to do and what's most important to us is that we teach people that we are not your usual traditional buyers. And we don't charge, commissions. We don't charge commissions. And what I love about how we are able to help families in these needs is we can do it quickly. The traditional way is, 45 days, 60 days, sometimes 90 days. Sometimes we ran across a family recently where their home has been for sale for a year.
Wow.
And they need
That's
these
a lot of
funds.
stress.
It is a lot of stress. They need these funds to get mom or dad the care that they need, and we can do it quickly, usually around 10 to 15 days, but sometimes even sooner than that. We've done it as quickly as 1 week.
That's amazing.
And we can just relieve so much stress from them.
Yeah, that gentleman, talking about that a little bit, the gentleman that kind of opened our eyes to this space of the senior transition space, he called me up. He's like, I need this price for my home. I need to close in 10 days, and I need 2 weeks after close to get some things out. Met him up there. I'm like, price is fine. 10 days is no problem. We actually closed it in 5. And then 2 weeks after close, that's not a big deal. We're not the traditional home buyer, right? We're not the one that, hey, I'm selling my home because I'm buying this. I'm buying this home, and this person sold this home, and this person's got to move here, and I got to move there, and all this stuff has to be done like at the same time, right? We don't have any of that. We're flexible. It's their timeline. If they need, we've run into situations like mom needs money to hold her spot at a care community, but they're not ready to move in yet, and it's going to be like 6 months. We can buy the home now so she has that money and just put her on a short-term lease back or something like that. And
there's
it's
always
finding
solutions,
out
right?
how can we fix this, right? Yeah. And we're not the traditional real estate play as far as what people are used to, right? So you have that training, that education side of things, as well as the senior education of the seniors and the families of what resources are available.
Right.
We're trying to educate that space and then uneducate, hey, this is how you sell a home, and well, no, you don't have to. It really is what works for you, and let's figure that out.
And the options are endless. It's a round table. We can sit and talk. What is important to you? Okay, well, then we can throw them out some ideas and some options. Well, what about this? Are you not comfortable with? Let's talk about that. And we can meld and make everything fit their needs, which is very important to us.
And they don't have to be moving into a care community, right?
No, they don't.
Maybe mom wants to move in with daughter Judy, right? And there's resources for daughter Judy. There's adult day, like a senior retreat, right? There's
so many resources.
Many resources, right?
Yes.
You can even have the in-home health, and actually daughter Judy can become a kind of an employee of that in-home health and actually get paid to take care of mom here and there. So there's just so many different ways to arrange things. We just want to know what's going on, and we can provide the right options, right? Not just inundate you with a whole bunch of options, right? Now you're no better off.
What a scary.
Exactly.
Anybody that's going through transition, though, the first thing the Bible says, do not fear. How many times? Every
Right.
single day.
Every
Right.
day.
But that's the first thing that you do when you run into something that you don't know about. And sometimes it's the first person that gets in front of you that says, oh, this is the right direction. And yet you just don't really know unless you have time to process it.
Right.
So do you guys do this in other cities? Like, does your organization, for people that are watching this that are not necessarily in Johnson County, how do people find out about these kinds of transitional resources?
So we can help anywhere in the country and Canada.
Awesome.
We do have a network of people that does make it a lot more helpful. But there's times moms moving from Indiana to
Right.
Texas, or moms moving from Texas to Indiana
Yep.
to kind of co-locate with family again,
Yep.
right? So
SeniorHeartsHomes.com.
yeah, just go
right.
there, call
That's
us.
right.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be able to, at worst, leave you in a better place than when you reached out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's again, it's a conversation. What's
Right.
going on? What do you want to do? Here's the options. We can help you put that plan together and then help execute it.
So talk to me about, so you guys have been married for 22
2 years.
years?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you decide, 23, 22. I love it. Right? We have spouses in here all the time. What is it? What's your birthday? No. What made you transition into really serving this community? Like, is there a personal story behind what really lights you up to help seniors?
There was an event that kind of happened right at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the gentleman, that was April of 22, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of opened our eyes to the space. And then October 22, we were getting our transition certification. And in that Thanksgiving, that November, my stepdad passed away. And so we had started kind of learning about the senior space as far as what these different things mean and what they are and what's out there, but we didn't have a true grasp on it yet. I mean, we were just educating ourselves at that time. So I think it was nice to be able to say, hey, Mom, we know about these kind of things. She had been learning some things too, but it was nice to just be able to come together and be able to share in a somewhat intelligent manner of things that we had learned and processed, and then kind of just be able to have that conversation and even learn things from her that she was finding out that we didn't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, of course, like my mom, she is 88. Is that right?
Yeah, and
88.
she's actually
She'll
on
be
the
89.
She's on the cover of our book with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is. And she's going strong. She's doing well. And I never wanted her ever to go into any type of, back in the day, it's called a facility, right? And we're like, no way. And that was one of the reasons too. And again, everyone around us, that part of society, the seniors are everywhere with us. Our friends are. I'm getting up there too. So I want to make sure these places are okay for me even. But no, so it was really interesting for us to start checking things out, even for my mom, because I told her she would always live with us. All my siblings are the same way. No one ever wanted her to, be, but only with us. And since we've been seeking more information, it has been amazing how things have changed for seniors, but just getting the information to them.
It's keeping them active and motivated,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the music therapy and the dance therapy and the things
Yeah.
that people are really saying, hey, this can bring them back to have so much joy
Right.
instead of, hey, we don't feel like we have purpose.
Well, and
Right.
these kind of places didn't exist back in their
No,
days,
they did
right?
not.
I mean, they're when they were growing up, when they were experiencing their grandparents, their parents, and that kind of thing. So it's a total. I was conflicted when we first got into this space, because I'm like, I wouldn't do this to my own family. Why are we getting into this space just to help somebody do what they think they want to do? And then we started visiting these places, like she said, and learning more about them, the in-home care, the adult daycare, the care communities. You know, they're not facilities; they're actually care communities. They have things going every day. They got pool tables, shuffleboard tables, card tables, outside decks, and patios and grills, and it's like, man, I'd move. It's
kind of like
going
to camp, right?
Right,
like,
exactly.
I get 3 hots and a cot. I'll move in here. Come on. They do my laundry once a week and clean the place.
That's right.
Oh.
But there's just so many things, and even the medical part. We've found programs where they get the main doctor, and that doctor actually handles all the specialists and everything, and they actually literally really talk and work together on the care of a senior. And how wonderful is that? Because usually, you know, at that point they have 4, 5, 6, 7 different specialists, and none of them talk. And their general practitioner, you know, tries to make the best decisions all the time, and it interferes with the other things. So when I learned about even programs like that, it's getting so good out there.
It's the quality of life and the quality of care
Yes.
that has just been elevated. You guys are doing amazing work.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
fun.
It's a lot of
And
fun.
even though it seems like, you know, situations are the same, but they're not. They have so many pieces to them are unique that they are very distinct from family to family, even though you're kind of saying the same things, it seems like at times, but it's different. And then being our own business, we don't have somebody who's saying, oh, you can't say Jesus, or you can't pray, you can't minister, you can't watch what you say, that blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I left that world.
Right.
And sometimes it's the prayer that just makes a difference for them. You know, that when they understand that we're not just there to make some money or put money in our pockets. It's just not that at all.
Well, you're really serving.
Yeah.
You're really
Yes.
serving the community in such a big way. And what I love about having you share this is so many people like, let's get the word out. You know,
Right.
even if you have questions, if you guys are going to so many events with Johnson County Senior Services, and she's got a quarterly event coming up here on the 28th, I think. Next
The
week.
Senior Summit
Yes, the Senior Summit.
at Grace Assembly.
And so that's another opportunity,
Right.
right, for people to get involved. But if they can go to your website, Senior Hearts Homes, both S's, to be able to just investigate, like download the book and start to
Right.
get to know your services, just to check it out, like have an evaluation, just to ask questions,
Right.
right? And maybe you can resource people with things that they need to learn about
Correct.
more. I mean, you have, and I know there's many organizations, the decluttering companies
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
medical
Correct.
companies, like things that you're not thinking about how they can prepare,
Right.
for that next step. It's getting around the holidays. Families are going to get together.
Yep.
So as they need to start thinking about the possibilities of just investigating, what could that look like?
Right. And there's so many pieces, right? I mean,
Yes.
you get into will and trust, right? Outer law attorneys, you start thinking about maybe doing estate sales. There's so many pieces to put together, options that just
Right.
can fit the need, that takes a whole lot of just stress and stuff off their plate. It's not just, it's a mental stress. It's always on your mind. It's, I got to do this, to do that, to do that, to do that, to that. And we can take a lot of that off and just say, hey, what if you didn't have to do this? Can you do that now? Can you do this now? And just make it easy. Make life simple.
Right. Well, especially for families that may not live in the area
Right.
of their loved ones. I think the education today is you can do things right now. You can put things in place because you have the resources for it.
Right.
So when the time comes that you have to make those decisions, that you've already at least thought through them, so it's not, well, this couldn't have happened at the worst time, right? That's what
Right.
people always say, like, well, now I have to deal with this on my plate. Well, yeah, but it can make it a lot easier.
Right.
Exactly.
Because you
Yes.
don't know, even the younger families, so many are struggling with health problems now that you say, I don't have the capacity because maybe what they're going through and their parents are healthier than they are.
Right.
So it's really, how do you take care of your families?
And I mean, it could be mom and dad's living together, but mom's primary caregiver
Right.
and dad's barely functioning. And what's the what's the cost for mom's health now?
Mm-hmm.
Because it
Yes.
comes very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Wow.
We're just two ordinary people helping ordinary people in extraordinary situations.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Two ordinary people helping ordinary people through extraordinary situations. That's so great. Well, thank you guys for everything that you do. What's your next event? I know probably the Senior Summit.
We'll be there at the Senior Summit with Kim. After that, I'd probably just dining in the dark.
Yes,
In
Dining
October
in the Dark.
30th coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's going to be a great event. Another great way to celebrate and raise money and get educated about how seniors maybe lose their sight and
Right.
when we want to
Yes.
give them that opportunity back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this
Yeah,
year's
it's a great
such a big year for
that's
Johnson County Senior
10-year
Services.
anniversary.
I know. There's that, and it's their 45th year.
That's right.
And so, yes, there we'll be looking for donations for them for their 45th year even. So we'll be
Awesome.
putting together some things for her.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just a big year for them.
It's a big year. It's a big time to celebrate.
Yes.
So thank you for everything that you do in the community, for educating us today. I really hope people reach out to you, download your ebook, and really start to feel like they have more control and more power over those next decisions. So
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a great space here. Thank you for just allowing us to get our message out.
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. Theo and Rose, you guys are great. Remember, go to seniorheartshomes.com and contact them. All right. So thank you very much for tuning in today, for joining us with everyday business leaders and community leaders. I hope you were inspired to think and grow differently. This was amazing. We love these guys, and we love Johnson County Senior Services especially. So check them out, get involved, come to the summits that are coming up, get to Dining in the Dark, and they have baskets. You can donate, you can register, and you can also give, and you can give your time. So remember, the journey of growth and innovation, it never ends. And it's our mission to keep bringing you the best insights from our local community. So stay tuned for more episodes filled with wisdom, innovation, and inspiration. This is Melanie Yake signing off from JP the Geek Studio, where they say better IT service is just a call away. Until next time, don't forget, subscribe to our channel and turn those notifications on so you never miss one of our episodes. Everyday Leaders helps you to develop strategies to be a better leader in your life. Because remember, it's not what you do in a day, it's what you do every day that makes the most impact. Thanks for joining us.